Welcome to Courageous Conviction. Remember that Jeff and I record each Saturday 5 episodes. So please hit the like button, subscribe so you catch all 5 episodes. We usually start out with one theme or topic. We have to go down a lot of rabbit holes to really understand it. Some things are more sensitive than others right now, what's going on in the world. So hit the like button, subscribe, and let's jump into this video.
But yeah, you know, that's what it is. It's to be suppressed, and it's really emboldened me. I didn't see that one coming. So I'm like, oh, okay, so I must have triggered something here, you know.
Yeah, that's good. This is good. You're right. Yeah. And unfortunately, you know, that negativity is going to tell you that you are walking the correct path. If you're not going to get those obstacles, then we're on the wrong path. If you're just going with the flow, you're not getting the obstacles, then you're on the wrong path. I'm sorry today. You are not holding up the title or banner of liberty.
Right. Big pushback, you know. So, but yeah, we got to stand up, you know, and these are these aren't little things. These are things that, you know, if you don't respond to them and just wilt, then these people get their way.
Well, Tim Pool yesterday made a comment. He said, and this is what he talked about, you know, he said, hey, look, I'm not a Christian. I do believe in God. I don't have a particular religion. You know, for many years, he never even mentioned anything about it, but he's come out like this last year and said, yeah, I believe in God. I'm not a Christian, but I'm going to say this. Our country was made great off of these Judeo-Christian values. And if we bag them, we're bagging everything because there's nothing else that is proven better. And he said this, Jeff, he said, because they're based on freedom. Right. They're based on freedom, and what you do with that freedom, you got consequences. He said, these Satanists say, yeah, we'll give you freedom. Then as soon as you get in, they take it from you. Right? They control your freedom.
The atheists, anything good that's coming out of them, they have to say that they've plagiarized or they've borrowed or that they've taken from Christian values because they didn't originate with them. Anything that has to do with, you know, with loving your brother, you know, doing good to others. These types of things are not, you know, these are Christian values, and so they can't claim to be the originators of these values, you know. But they would attack it.
How do we know that what's true, what's not? Here's how we know: because if it's going to line of supporting freedom, supporting the Constitution, which we know forms part of the gospel, right? Yeah. And if it's going to support what the Book of Mormon is saying as doctrine, in other words, or the church's doctrine, right? If it's going to go against the church's doctrine. Now we can get in this whole confusion that's going on right now in the church with LGBTQ, you know, some of this stuff. You even got some of the climate change stuff being bled over into the church. Unfortunately, the church is in a position where they're going to have to respond to members that are of the world and are going to be influenced of the world. So I think the church is more in a preparatory state right now. Yeah. You know, I think we're trying to prepare for the corruption that's coming. Look, do your history in Greece and do your history in Rome. And I ask people to prove me wrong on this, but you look at the end of those two empires, right? You look at the end of those two great nations, and what did they practice? What was prevalent amongst them and accepted was homosexuality. Sorry. And that led to two great nations being destroyed, right? And you're talking Greece, you're talking the cradle of civilization, basically, right?
It'll happen here too. You know, we're heading that direction. So,
and I think we're too complacent.
And big countries that want to see, you know, something bad happen to the U.S., they're on board with this. They realize that in particular is the one thing that's going to tear our country down and leave us open and vulnerable for being taken over.
Now, I want to say this: do we run and throw our armor on and put our banner of liberty up and go out and try to rally up the troops right now? Well,
there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it. And that's probably not it. You know, driving around the big truck with the flag. I'm not that guy. You know. But are we? You know, are we not in a way just being smart about it? Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, and you're right, Jeff. You know, I don't think that's the way to do it yet. And we hope that we don't have to get into some other way of doing it because we know that's going to be bloodshed, right? And that means our children are going to die, our wives are going to die, people we love are going to die. Civil war is a real ugly thing, right? And I was one of those proponents last year, like, yeah, you know, national divorce. I don't want to coexist with these people because dialogue is over. Dialogue ended in the Book of Mormon, and as soon as dialogue ended the Book of Mormon, you then have the preparatory time, which was a short period of time, and then you have the wars, right? Yeah. And the interesting thing is, just jump back here. So we're putting God first. We want to be able to defend that First Amendment. The World Economic Forum met on how they need to destroy the idea of a First Amendment in America.
Right.
And they dealt with the fact if there's a Trump win, how that's going to thwart their agenda and how they need to help defeat that Trump win. So we're talking about people who have nothing to do with America at all, trying to make sure that they can put people in power that they can manipulate and dictate or buy out. And that's what we're seeing right now, right? And that's why you're seeing the Supreme Court not having a lot of respect, because we know that some of those judges there are bought out. And we've seen that from certain results. Now, especially to come back and say, yep, you got to leave the borders open so these people can just pile in here. Or said anything like that. That's absurd, right? To order Texas to stand down and let the people come across. And that's another issue. But I want to go back here.
Yeah.
Look here. So then he goes in and he says, so now we're going to defend our God and our religion and our freedom. And that means then our peace.
Yeah.
Because we don't have that freedom of religion to choose. We don't have peace. We'll have that turmoil inside because we did exist in a pre-existence, and we have ingrained in us this innate ability to know that we did. It's there. Mm-hmm. It's called conscience as well, right? And the light of Christ is in all of us, and we can remember certain things when Father allows it to be done, and we remember enough. Our founding fathers did too, right? And I was just listening to a talk yesterday by Ezra Taft Benson, his apostle, talking about the Constitution in General Conference. Oh, I miss those type of general conferences where he broke it down who the founding fathers were, why this church accepts the Constitution as doctrine.
I hope we get back to that. I hope we get some more, some of those values back in our conferences. I think it's gonna,
Well, this can be very divisive. Look, when Elder Oaks talked about it a couple years back, boy, down there,
I loved it.
It was divisive. And I spoke about this, I think, before that I was allowed to speak on that topic as well with the 70 at our state conference. And Steady stood up behind me and basically kind of poo-pooed all the talk. And I thought to myself, that was given by Elder Oaks. Who are you? Right.
Right.
And you're actually, he was from South America. I don't remember which country he was from exactly, that 70. I don't think he was from Ecuador. I think he might have been a Peruvian or Bolivian or something of that nature at the time, the 70 we had. Yeah. And the area presidency was basically, well, I didn't hear much from them. That was just the 70 that came to our state conference at that particular time, right? So anyway, I'm gonna jump back to this. And that doesn't mean that all the leaders are bad. And I'm not saying bad in a bad way. I just want to kind of put that side note in there. They're very confused. And remember, they grow up with their own mindset and that way they think. And that's my point I'm trying to make about those coming across the border. Don't think they're just going to assimilate overnight because they just want to. If they want to come here and they want to defend this country and the Constitution, then they want to make something good of their lives. Look, America is not responsible at all to give people a better economic opportunity. America has been a safe haven when it comes for freedom. So we're talking about one particular people getting economic opportunities. That means another group loses economic opportunities, right? And we're feeling it here, Jeff. In my business here, we're feeling the influx of the immigrant because this is the business they normally go into out here, right?
Yeah.
I'm already feeling a huge slowdown and it's already affecting us. I'm actually concerned going in because I think this year we're going to see that the ugly head of the Fed rate hikes, this inflation. I think we're going to see it touch our wallets a lot more. I want to get back to this though.
Yeah.
So he talks about, so now we're our peace. And then he says our wives. So after he says peace, our wives and our children. It's interesting how we want to have a peace of mind to make sure our wives and children are secure and safe and able to then carry on with the tradition of adorning or worshiping their God, right? That's what we fight for. That's what the founding fathers fought for, right? And they stood up.
God and home.
And then we'll go into 48 if you want, you get more of that. Talk about, basically your property rights.
But that's it. That's 46.
Well, 48 goes a little more going property too, right? Private property, right?
Later on,
yeah. And so here's where we are.
Narrows that down a little bit. Yeah.
Now let's go back. What's Marxism attack? What's the two main? We talked about this last week.
God and family.
Well, God, family, and private property, right? The whole idea of religion and private property.
Family's no longer a man and a woman and a couple of kids. It's something different,
And we got attacked for that on our podcast. I don't know if you saw that one or not.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
I was kind of hard on that one.
Ruffling feathers. Yeah, I saw your comment there. Good for you.
Well, basically, it was like, you can sit here. You cannot come to the table and argue with me without facts. You can't take your feel-good ideas and lay them on the table and think that we're going to come up with a conclusion because I'm not going off emotion. I'm going to go off of facts. And he argued that fact that, we are out of line by saying that families can't be done by gays. Because I gave the example of put two gays on an island for 100 years. What do you find? Right? I put two women.
Yeah, they can't reproduce.
They can't reproduce. Man and woman you come with society, and that's natural law. And you can actually, well, they've been able to have children for years. I thought to myself, well, in a laboratory type of environment is very different than natural process, right?
Mm-hmm.
And talking about men having children, okay, this not even coming to the table with the same. It's apples to oranges, very different, right?
Yeah.
And so that's some of the comments we're getting. Hey, if you guys want to comment, but keep it respectful. That was just an attack at us. And if you're going to attack me, well, expect to get some cold hard facts back.
Hey,
right?
We have family that's gay.
I do too.
We love them to death. I do
too. It's not like I'm sitting blind or ignorant to all this.
It's not like we don't call them. It's not like they're not part of our lives. There is the thing is I think everybody these days has somebody that we love that's part of the LGBTQ community and may believe differently than we do. I think that's where, dialogue still has to be open. We're not against anybody, but there is a fact. The fact is that a man and a woman in the proclamation, that the church wrote back in the 90s of the family is very important. Those things were designed by God. That's not going to be changed, just because we all understand that, hey, we know somebody that's a great person that's gay. So,
and I think, Jeff, the church's stance right now, what they're doing. And again, we've got individual bishops, stake presidents, mission presidents, even those in church headquarters that are kind of running too far with this to the left. They're taking it too far, right? And it causing the confusion right now. And so there's going to be need some clarification down the road here.
There's a pendulum,
but I
swinging.
Think, these are growing pains. One of the these are growing pains that the church is going to go through with its growth. With this attack on the family, the church is going to defend the family, but also they're not going to want to lose all these kids. They're going to get wrapped up in this whole agenda right now to destroy themselves.
And we don't want that either. I don't want that.
No. But I got to be careful. My kids don't get wrapped up in it too, because I'm a safe haven. I don't want them bringing it in there as well. So
got to be able to talk. Got to be able to separate the difference.
Yeah. And I understand. I get it. So trust me, I do. I've lost. I've got one daughter. I've said this before. I've got one daughter that we haven't spoken in probably 10 years. Right.
Yeah.
And I got another son that was more caught up in the woke issue of just more of the don't take responsibility for things. He's coming out of that now, though. He's progressing. The problem is
we were both politically that way, for a long time until we came back to church. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, the socialist agenda is against religion and family, because those things go against what they're trying to do.
Well, they make it seem more fun and easier life, right? Less stress in life. I'm stressed over work. Well, if I had a socialist agenda, a true socialist agenda, I wouldn't have to be stressed over work.
Right. Everything peachy, hunky dory, go to work and whistle,
working for the government, right? Whatever they assign me to do, or whatever company is in their bed. I guess I'd be working for Facebook or Google or whatever they can manipulate the people with at that time, right?
Right.
But so just my point to this, that the people commented, like we were talking about earlier off air, DNA. I don't know anything about DNA. Yeah, I've done a lot of research on DNA, and you can take your DNA and you can pack sand with your DNA. And just like I see all this stuff on the genealogy stuff about, you've got to be, you're this cousin, go look it up. And I like people, I go, there's no real relevance to that. I'm sorry. I just can't jump on board that you're going to just take all this off of, and you can say, well, I was family with this person that lived down in Bangladesh, 1,000 years ago. It was part of my family. It's like, maybe there's some links somewhere along the line going way, way back. Okay. We can trace them all back to Father Abraham if you want to get really technical, right? I thank you for being with us on Courageous Conviction. Remember, there's 5 episodes each week that we put out. We have to go down a lot of rabbit holes, so stay with us. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and don't miss tomorrow's episode on Courageous Conviction.